welcome to this week's episode of Work the Left Side. I'm happy to be joined by Ace Matthews. Anybody who knows me knows I kind of scour the lead scenes of wrestling, and this guy's pretty much his boss, to be fair. So big fan. Happy to have you on, mate. How's it going?
Hello, yeah, I'm great, thank you. Incredibly busy week outside of wrestling, but apart from that, really good. Yeah.
That's good. So obviously, yeah. Anybody knows me knows Tidal, True Grit. Obviously, see you at True Grit many a time, and of course, you are the Tidal champion. So yeah, how's it feel? With the belt. To be fair, I'm going to jump straight into now. We'll cover the generic boxes at a point, but yeah, Tidal champion, last 3 shows: Sam Gradwell, Rampage Brown, Scotty Rourke. Name is not to be sneezed at, man. How do you feel?
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, so I know Scotty quite well, and I've worked with Rampage and Sam a long time ago, not for many years now, but they're like absolute stars, aren't they? I mean, Rampage is the best. Like when I say the best, I mean he actually is the best. He's like, for me, he's the best in Europe, never mind the UK. Gradwell, absolutely incredible. And working with him twice this year, he's just the man. And then Scotty, he's massively underrated, and I think the next year is going to be huge for him. So I beat them all,
Well, you just said in your words, you beat the best in Europe, so that must make you the best in Europe. So
it definitely does. I was saying to him at the weekend, I believe I've got a 2-1 record against him. I've wrestled him 3 times. Twice somehow I've beaten him, and then he beat me once, probably accidentally. I don't know how it happens, but yeah.
It happens. Broken watch is right twice a day, so there you go. I'm not only joking, by the way. Obviously, he's awesome. Dubbed somebody else as being the Obi-Wan of British wrestling, so you can't argue with that comment. But yeah, obviously Scotty, massive fan of Scotty. I've had him on the show. I've jokingly got to create a hashtag just saying Scotty is awesome, because everybody who speaks about him seems to love the guy.
Yeah. But he keeps kicking me in the face, like wherever I am. So apart from that,
he's all right.
but wherever I turn up, he sort of appears and just gives me a kick to the face. Yeah, one of my very favourite pictures that I've ever had inside and outside of wrestling is a picture of him kicking me in the face. Unfortunately, next time it will definitely be the other way around.
Just learn from the mistakes and duck. Probably the best advice I could probably give. So
remember that.
Obviously,
favourite animal.
Ticket boxes. You kind of looking through your history. Kind of had your first match pegged as being about 2015, and then obviously you've progressed. Worked primarily at the start. It looks like you spent a lot of time in NGW. Who have just celebrated the 15th anniversary.
Yep.
How was that, man? Because I know a lot of guys that have come through NGW have kind of really credited them with just the training abilities and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, NGW is the best. It's brilliant. So I came up training through there with Nathan Cruz and Matt Myers. So now that's sort of moved across to Evo, which is attached to BWR in Grimsby, NGW being in Hull. Nathan is like, so when I said Rampage is the best, Nathan is the second best, which makes sense because Rampage brought up Nathan. So, but yeah, that's brilliant. Mize is so talented. Again, he's not wrestling as often as he used to at the moment. I think he's picking and choosing. He's doing what he enjoys doing. Whereas Nathan, it's great to see that he's finally reaching the places that, I mean, he's been there before, but he's getting there again. The place that he deserves to be and getting the recognition he deserves to be, because he really is that good. And so, yeah, getting to train with those guys and to travel around and just make friends and with them is brilliant. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, dude.
Yeah, sorry. And so NGW itself is it's not an internet company, if that makes sense. It's very, very much a family-friendly company. Aims the shows at casual family fans. However, so a little bit towards COVID started, and then since COVID, there's been more and more of what you said, like internet fans coming to the shows. But the crowds that you get in GW are not like anywhere else. They are. Have you been?
Yeah, I've been to a few.
They're absolutely incredible. And to be able to wrestle in front of, that's the best crowds that you can have, because just every little thing they're jumping and they're getting excited for, and they're getting behind all of, I mean, they don't really like me anymore. They used to like me, but they don't like me anymore for some reason. But it's so unique to anywhere, especially for that family-friendly audience. And like the levels of production that they have on all the shows, the levels of booking that they've got, the stories that they put out are just, yeah, incredible. They've been through an awful lot in the last 15 years, going through having local TV stations, having butlins, and running over 100 shows a year. And they're starting to sort of ramp up again now. So it's a really exciting place to be around, yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, I remember I'm old enough to have been watching British wrestling for 10 plus years kind of thing. So, yeah, I've been to like NGW shows previously, like Wind Hall. Sidebar, there's some poor kid out there with my signature on one of the NGW shows because he was adamant I was a wrestler. I had like long hair and a bit more facial fuzz. I was at a show selling merch, like a fan scene that I used to be involved in. So we also loaded up one of these pull-along suitcases, and yeah, the kids saw it and saw the long hair, must have been like, wrestler, can you sign my poster? So for poor random kid out there has got NT signed on an NGW poster. There you go. Random NGW connection. So if the kid's watching at some point, if you're still a wrestling fan and is watching this, then I apologise profusely. But yeah, NGW, man, like I say, a lot of play people, just the talent that's gone through. I remember like back in the day, you had this Screw Indie, I'm a Pro, or that kind of storyline was going through British wrestling, going through NGW. We've had Matt Myers and Nathan Cruz on the show before as well, so they've talked about it, how they got into NGW from their early days of being taught and they wanted to teach better kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously it's working. Well, it worked. And yeah, I've always said Nathan Cruz is the most American-style British wrestler that I know. Yeah. That's the biggest compliment I can give him as well. Yeah. He's like, his style would fit perfectly on AEW or any American promotion kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I mean, and he's had several links with WWE. He had a WWE contract in his hand. He had some blood pressure issues, which unfortunately took that away from him at the time. But he's in a far better place at the moment now. And he's appeared on NXT. He's more than good enough to be making WWE, AEW. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, back to you. So I'm kind of bigging up everybody else here. This is the Ace show. So yes, I would say 2015, working NGW, working singles and tags. So obviously a lot of times, looking through your match history, you have kind of like a sports team. You teamed with David Graves.
David Graves, yeah.
Obviously, yeah, you teamed with Matt Myers for a period. And yeah, dude, you've been around longer than I think people think. But you're very versatile as well, because as mentioned, I primarily see you at True Grit and Tidal. Yeah. And go from seeing you at Tidal, where you're the champ, very respectable, believable champ as well, to then seeing you at like True Grit, where you're kind of more of a comedy character. Yeah. If that's an insult, but yeah, you kind of more that kind of side of things, but you pull it off both very, very well.
Yeah, I just try and throw a personality into most things that I do there. The title chief thing came through. Tidal Champion, the last few shows that the previous owner was running. I actually ended up winning the championship on the previous owner's final ever show. I was in a number one contendership ladder match with HT Drake to win a contract for a championship, Money in the Bank style championship opportunity. We get to the venue. There's no ladders. They've advertised this ladder match going on. HT Drake brought the ring with him. He has ladders that he can provide. Wasn't asked to bring any. Thinking that there'd be some at the venue there. There weren't. So we're scouring the venue and we found this tiny little step ladder. And immediately we just looked at each other and we're like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And so it was the strangest ladder match where we're battling over control of this tiny ladder. So the end of the match might be my favorite finish ever. So I have control of the ladder. I realize I can't reach because it's only a tiny ladder. So I'm searching around, and under the ring I find a sweeping brush. So I'm reaching, trying to get it. And the sweeping brush is too small as well. All of a sudden, HT Drake pushes me off the ladder. I fall through a table that's set up in the corner of the ring. Oh dear. He produces a bigger sweeping brush. He starts trying to knock this down, which is attached to the ceiling of the venue. Trying to knock it down. All of a sudden, he hits it really hard and it flies up and gets stuck on a girder where it's hung from. And the crowd goes, ha! I'm laid there going, oh, no. Anyway, he pulls it down and he manages to knock it off. However, were you there? As he knocked it off, it landed perfectly in my hand for the greatest finish to a professional wrestling match there's ever been. And I became the number one contender and cashed it in against Brady Phillips later that night to become the title chief, titles forever champion. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's just one of the things where, like, yeah, it was so risky because it could have gone just like, you know, totally wrong. It could have, like, you know, you could have landed in the ring somewhere else. You could have scrambled for it. But yeah, it was just bang.
It just landed in my hand.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. I must admit.
Like fate.
Like I said, yeah, it could have just gone so wrong, but the payoff was just so worth it. And it just, yeah, when it landed in your hands, I just remember literally, I was like, bravo. Spot on, dude. But again, HT Drake is another guy. If you want something like that, he can kind of be trusted to do a good job.
Yeah, so we're talking about True Grit as well. That came about from, so I think for me, the last maybe year has been sort of a big thing for me. That's where I've sort of started picking up a little bit more steam over the previous like 8 years or however long it's been. But that was something that just started on Twitter, just throwing out stupid ideas, calling out everybody I could, and just creating tag teams for myself. I'm in a tag team with most people in British wrestling now, it seems. However, it seems as if Nash Boat is about to come to fruition. I'd imagine that there won't be long until he agrees that he's probably my best friend and wants to be my tag team partner. So I think I think everyone's for something special there at True Grit. Yeah, and people cheer me, which is amazing.
Yeah,
or at least they did on the last show, so we'll see.
Left back when you was walking around with the Nash Boats, you know, the signs outside. Got to the venue and just saw you walking around with like the placards. I was like, oh, this guy's freaking awesome. It's just, yeah. Again, it's just something different. That's the kind of sort of versatility that I was mentioning, like when you go from being like your champ I go to another show and you're walking around like just trying to hype up the crowd and get interacting with the crowd outside of the ring. And yeah, just I think there's only certain people or wrestlers that can sort of do that. You know, you've got to kind of have the ability to connect with the audience.
Yeah, no, it's something that I've been trying to do. Just do something different. Just try different things to stand out. And it doesn't always work. Sometimes things just fall flat in the face, but sometimes, yeah, that was one thing that really works and really, yeah.
But like I said, yeah, you got to try different things. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, learn from it, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a result, we have Nash Boat coming up at some point. And then I think I've said on Twitter, like a boats and hose kind of style T-shirt with both of your faces on. So that's I'll sort of keep my eyes open. But yeah, obviously back to why did you get into wrestling in the first place? Then let's discuss that. Was you a fan from it as being a kid? Were you just interested in the sports side of it, fitness side, the entertainment aspect?
All of the above, really. I got into wrestling because I liked wrestling. So when I was a kid, I loved wrestling. Football was my number one love. But wrestling, you could get similar feelings and similar reactions watching that once you got invested in the characters, as you could with football. And so it was like, wow, this is the second thing that you can get excited about. My parents didn't like wrestling. They still don't. They've only been to see me a couple of times, and now they've been to see me a couple of times, they're like, yeah, okay, we get it. Whereas when I was a kid, they'd come to see me play football all the time. And so, yes, it was sort of the late 90s, early 2000s, I was growing up. That I was enjoying watching wrestling then. I think a lot of people I've spoken to had a moment in their life, depending upon how old you are, and it's usually around the same age per person, that you sort of fall away from wrestling a little bit. And so for me, it was when probably between about 16 and 18, 15 and 17, it was when I got to university again. So there were a couple of years that I hadn't really followed it very much. I got to university and you get thrown in with like a house full of guys there. And there were two lads there who were massive wrestling fans. And so that just immediately clicked me back in again. Like we went to some WWE events together, and we'd be watching Monday Night Raw every week and watching DVDs and things all the time. So that got us back in again. Into actually getting into wrestling training, it was something that I was looking at. I was thinking about sort of for age. I Googled different schools, and the two that I found were NGW in Hull, where I was when I was at university, and Future Shock in Manchester. They were the two big ones that sort of stood out to me. So I did, when I was a little bit younger, I did like an acting group, and there was a girl there whose brother used to be a referee at NGW. He's actually one of my best friends now, AJB, and put me in contact with him, and he brought me down, and I went down to one of the shows and met Nathan. I've got a picture of Nathan and I before I started training with him. Yeah, he took me down there. I had a few sessions with him, but at the time I was working in America as well. And so I was only here a few weeks before I was flying back to America. But when I was there, after doing those few sessions, again, I'd been researching it over there and straight away got in contact with the company over there. And so my first sort of 9 months, that was my last year that I was working in America. I was training over there, and then came back here, and I'd been with NGW ever since. And now, yeah, that's pretty much how it got to that point. Yeah, but yeah, I've always been a sporty person. I've played pretty much every sport there was. But as you can probably tell from my own character, it's the characters and the entertainment that really gravitated to me. Yeah.
I think obviously, yeah, you've got the background. Obviously, you kind of had the good foundations around the sport aspect of it, or
yeah,
the character kind of thing. So yeah, you use the. I sort of say if you're into sports when you're younger and stuff, that's good because you've got the athleticism, and then you build on the showmanship.
Exactly. Go team sports. That's where it came from. Dave played rugby. I played football. So we were like, right, team sports. Let's go.
Yeah, again, another tag team. Looking through, I'll also keep the focus on you as much as I can, but just while I'm talking to you, I also want to kind of pick your brain just about NGW and stuff like that as well. And the team that just isn't around anymore, which I'm kind of saddened by, because they were like one of my favourite tag teams in British wrestling for a long time, was The Proven. Obviously, I know you kind of crossed that. Yeah. The Proven were awesome. Massive fans of them, back in the day. It just kind of looks like, some people drop off the radar for whatever reason. But yeah, it's just to sort of put it out there that, the one person's missing them at least. I'm very sad that The Proven aren't a team anymore.
Yeah. So I was quite lucky that I got to wrestle them a few times. Sam, he's not wrestling anymore. He's not been around for a while now. Kaz may have made his return in the Rumble last week, in the 15th anniversary Rumble. So that was good to see him. It's been good to see him sort of a little bit more recently. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I can't imagine The Proven will be back, but it seems that Kaz is back.
Yeah, Kaz is back. Or for him kind of thing, you can focus on doing the singles thing. But yeah, just like I say, just put it out there. They're an amazing tag team. If you haven't heard of them, if you can find any of the matches on YouTube, go check it out. Kind of. So
yeah, they did quite a bit at NGW and at Tidal as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's where I remember seeing them primarily. And True Grit as well. I saw Sam do some solo stuff at True Grit. So yeah, anyway, kickboxers. Getting into wrestling. We was talking before we started recording, pulling double duty, and obviously you're sort of saying that you've done like the triple match in one day, but that was an AllStar thing. So tell us about AllStar to start off with, because that's obviously something people kind of go through. Doing 3 matches one day, man. Aching the next day.
So that's something that if you search about me, you're not going to find stuff about that. That's something. I don't know the years. So coming through, I think the first summer I did that I was after I made my debut, I did quite a few shows and a few little runs with Mega Slam. But then Nathan Cruz, being part of the AllStar team, he managed to get me on a few little runs with AllStar, and then get me on a full summer the following year. That was actually the last summer that AllStar ran the Butlins camps. Before then, NGW took over. So I obviously did a few runs for them, apart from having a couple of injuries during that. But yeah, AllStar is brilliant. It's a massively underrated and yet incredibly high quality wrestling show. It's not something that really advertises to internet fans or to the indie wrestling market. It aims itself at casual wrestling fans, but they run the most shows in the Mega Slam might now. I'm not 100% sure, but Mega Slam and AllStar both run the most shows, and they have the best workers, the best wrestlers, and so just getting to do some runs there. I remember the first time I did it, it was Nathan, Rampage, and I driving around. Went down. We did a 3-day run down south, and I got to wrestle Robbie Dynamite, which was brilliant. I believe I was terrible, and then I had 2 matches against Johnny Storm, doing wrestling matches, doing the good guy. Back and forth wrestling match, and it was such an awesome experience. We had Gangrel on the team on that run, so it was great working with him. And aside there as well, North Wrestling on the 15th of July. If anyone wants to come see, I think my good friends, the Landed Gentry, and I will be facing up against Gangrel and Rory Coyle, who we don't really like. But Kaylee Ray was there, James Mason, Tony Spitfire, Dean Allmark, who again I'll be facing very soon at Tidal Wrestling. But literally just the best wrestlers, and so being around them, especially doing that summer run, I spent a lot of time with HT Drake then as well. We were sort of the new guys on the team in that year. So that was a year that I got to really get to know him as well. Then we had War Machine. They were known at the time. They're now the War Raiders, Viking Experience, whatever they're going by at the moment. And just such a massively experienced team, and just getting to work with these guys every single day is incredible. I can't speak highly enough about AllStar. It's a brilliant company. Yeah.
I've had a few guys on that have obviously done the AllStar thing. What I tend to find is it's the people, kind of coming back to yourself as well, it's the people who are a bit more showmanshipy, have kind of got that AllStar experience. Because, like you sort of said, it's at the holiday camps. It's the casual fans that are there. It's people that are there on holiday anyway that just think, well, we'll go along and watch a wrestling show. And it's got to be definitely turned up to 11, good guy versus bad guy kind of thing. So you've got to tell a story a hell of a lot more at an AllStar or Mega, just on the holiday circuit. And a lot of guys have been able to put that down to just having that extra little sense of showmanship or charisma kind of thing.
Yes, 100%. And again, I think the match structures as well. A lot of it, thinking, making sure that it is a story going through. It's a lot easier to watch something you're invested in as opposed to just watching fireworks. And you'll see a lot of people who come through there who've gone on to really massive things. So one of my favorite photos is me with a load of the guys from the AllStar team, and I'm the guy who's done the least, which hopefully I can change. But if you look on there, there's Nathan who's done everything he's done there. Robbie X who's done World of Sport. He's a champion at Red Pro. He's champion at 1PW. Kip Sabian over at AEW. Amir Jordan at WWE. Rampage WWE. Lucas Steele, who was going over to Japan, who've done massive things. So it's definitely something to do. And if anyone's is new coming up, then it doesn't matter who it's for, but just the camp runs, getting to learn that style, and get to work every single day and just get the reps, and then just make mistakes, and then the next day make few mistakes, and then make few mistakes, and it's a massive learning experience. It's something that I really want to do again. It just A to keep getting better, and B, just to have fun, just have some wrestling matches, just some just sort of straightforward. Okay, let's see what's going on. Let's just see how the crowd reacts, and then just go for it from there. I really want to do that again now. Yeah.
It sounds like I sort of said. It's just like you say. It's working like 2 or 3 matches in the same day, and then doing it again the next day. You're working on the foundations, but then also being able to mess about with this, see what works, what doesn't. But it's just the experience of it, and it just imagine the learning curve normally is like that, but when you do a holiday circuit, the learning curve's like that basically.
And you're traveling with your friends as well, and so just every day you're waking up and you're with your friends, and you're doing what you love doing and getting better at it, and you're doing it together. It's brilliant.
That's awesome. You mentioned Johnny Storm there as well, who's I've labelled guys like Nathan Cruz, Matt Myers, Rampage, Kirby, and all them as being like the OGs of the modern day British wrestling. Storm was the OOG, he's slightly ahead of the time. Him and Jody Fleisch was just when 1PW first came around years ago, they were like the 2 standout, and Burridge, they were like the 3 standout British talents at the time. So it just speaks volumes. And I'm pretty certain they did Storm obviously did the holiday circuits.
Yes.
Mark as well. Brian Danielson as credited doing a holiday run as helping him, the wrestler that he is.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a great way to learn and to get ready. Especially, it mimics a WWE run. If you're working with WWE, you're working every single day. In slightly bigger arenas, it's something to go through just to and again to learn to work smart and to try not to get hurt and to just be on top of yourself all the time. That's
the key word there. Work smart. So obviously you're in one place, so you're working 3 matches. We was talking before about the traveling potential, like working 2 shows in one day. But obviously you're not in the same holiday camp. You got to travel. So that's quite common for a lot of guys. How do you find it? Again, obviously you're in the car with mates. I would presume you're not further around yourself. But yeah, obviously it's got to be a chore, man. You do one match, you get a car, you drive somewhere else.
So I was really looking forward to it. A couple of days coming up to it, I was a little bit, I don't know, I'm tired and be because I was the driver as well. And we had NGW on the Friday night. And even though it's in Hull, we're always there late because we're sorting out the ring and we're doing all that as well. But yes, I drove down. There was myself, Alexis Falcon, Dara Diablo, and Vusic. Vusic, who tends to just be wherever I'm going, he jumps in with me, and we go together. He's going to be a star. And then Dara was like the first really good friend I made in wrestling. And then Alexis as well, who's from Hull, but she's not spent that much time here. She lives in Liverpool, but she's great. She was an awesome person to have in the car because she just doesn't stop talking. So as the driver, that was brilliant. So we drove up to Tidal. We had the show there. This was Vusic and I who were wrestling that show there. Alex had come with us because she was coming up to North, and she had NGW with us. And then Dara, who is currently injured, he snapped his Achilles, which is a terrible injury that I'm well aware of. But he was doing some commentary there as well. And then we'd planned all driving up together. We met Natalie Sykes as well, who was coming to North with us, and she had a massive bag. So we kicked Dara out for Natalie's bag. And yeah, it was good, and it wasn't as stressful and rushed as we thought it would be. We all managed to we got to North before the show even started, so we were all good. And then again, we got home about a little after 1 a.m. I think last time we were at North, we got home at about 3 a.m. So it wasn't too bad. And yeah, it's just a really good time, a really good day. As you said, just spending time with your friends, getting to wrestle, get to wrestle a couple of places, and make some really good moments with everyone. Yeah, it was ace.
Obviously, you were driving, so I presume it was your music or Get Out. Picked the music.
We didn't. So I say we had Alexis in the car. We had no chance for music. It was just, she was our music. She was playing, just talking the entire time. Yeah.
How is Tara? Is healing up all right? I know obviously he did the injury because obviously he was meant to have a match against Encerico, which didn't happen due to the injury. Yeah. Hopefully he's just rested it, rehabbing it, doing what needs to be done to get him back. Yeah. It is another name that certain people will know and appreciate, but it's not that widely sort of known. He's he's very highly regarded in this area.
Yes.
Not venturing out too much, kind of thing.
Yes. And unfortunately, that was something that he was starting to do. He's starting to build up a buzz about him again until he snapped his Achilles. And then he was rehabbing that, and then he snapped his Achilles again, which I don't know if many people know. He's actually, while he's been off, he's snapped it twice.
Oh.
Which is very, very depressing for him. And he wasn't doing very well at the time. I think he was just reaching for a cup of tea the second time, and it went. But yeah, he's up and about again now. He's walking around. He's driving. He's getting out and about. Say tomorrow night we're both off to go see Iron Maiden together. Which we're looking forward to. But yeah, I think he's a few months off returning yet. But he'll be back, and yeah, he's doing well now that he can get up and about again. He's doing all right.
Awesome, that's cool. Obviously, like I say, anybody who's seen him in a match, like I say, I know him primarily from NGW and Tidal. Back, very good worker, awesome guy, and just well wishes, and Godspeed on the recovery kind of thing. And hopefully, we'll see him soon. We need that title match against Encerico, to happen. So, obviously, you mentioned Vusic, another person trained at NGW. Yes. Nathan and Matt as trainers, and Liam. He's named all three as trained by. I think I actually did a post the other day just sort of saying because I'm trying to put spotlights on people in British wrestling, and yeah, actually, I think it's 2 or 3 days ago, Vucek's just tweeted out, keep your eyes on, this guy. He's going to be awesome. Reminds me of like a modern day Loki, if you remember Loki from TNA.
Yeah. I say as a more one day thing now. If you look at the rise that Leon Slater has had in the last couple of years, I know Leon's not human, so like that's another level to the rest of us. So just if we bring it down to a more human level, I think that Vucek is the next to have that sort of rise. He is that good. He's putting himself about everywhere. He's like a ridiculously hard worker. And then just look at him. He's everything he does. He just puts everything behind. He's gonna be a star one day. Yeah.
But I'm mentioning all these guys as well, though. But you don't look out of place with these guys. Like, I'll take that as a massive compliment, kind of thing. You all kind of fit very well and worked at the same sort of level for me, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm bigging up some other guys, but you are very much appreciated and acknowledged as well. Yeah. So that's right. So yeah, 2 shows obviously north. That's the thing as well, man. You're getting around. Promotion wise, like I said, when I was looking through Scott Cage match earlier, it was primarily NGW, Tidal, True Grit, BWR. But yeah, you mentioned in north. You're going to be north. Obviously, you worked north. I've seen you at 1PW a couple of times. It seems like your radius of bookings is expanding.
Yes. So the cage match hasn't got the vast majority of things I've done, but then again, the vast majority of things I've done has been camp shows. Recently, in the last year, probably the last year, I think it's really started to sort of snowball out for me. I think COVID for me, from a wrestling point of view, as rubbish as it was to stop, was really good for me coming out of it again, getting to sort of work on some things that like to stop the old bad habits and technically and to improve upon them, but then also just find myself more as a character and progress the character that I was doing before into what it is now. Yeah. And I mean, hopefully it's starting to rub off and people are starting to see it and get it and figure out where it can go. Figure out what people can do with it, and I'm well aware that it's very dislikable, but also a little bit entertaining. So, yeah.
I said you've got that diversity where you can hold your own in the ring. I mean, you can have solid matches, great matches, but if somebody needs a showman as well, you can get on the mic, you can do stuff, you can interact with the crowd. So you've got that diversity where I think that's going to make you a key player to a lot of promotions. Where if you want a good worker, Ace, sort of, we need someone to talk to the fans, to connect with the fans. Ace, right, whatever we want you to do, we can trust you to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. It's a very mixed bag of doing all sorts of different things at many different places. So, so at Tidal, I'm out there doing main events. At 1PW, I'm well aware that I'm the sort of the lowest, and I'm trying to figure my way, trying to get a spot there and get noticed, get people behind me. True Grit, a similar sort of thing, trying to make friends with JJ Nash. With Winker Man Nash, and just everywhere and in between.
Just talk Mario Kart with Nash, and he'll body up with you straight away. So that's my Mario Kart.
That was okay.
But yeah, like I said, you mentioned 1PW. Yeah, I mean, last time we saw you at 1PW, you was getting, sorry to bring it up, but power drive by Ulf. So you had a brief appearance at Lincoln. What was that like in itself? I know it's obviously, but it's still a moment at 1PW. It's a moment with Ulf. They're trusting you to go out there and have a moment with Ulf, who is, loved by the 1PW fans. That automatically surely elevates you.
Oh, definitely. I think for me on a personal level, just getting to be asked to be there. So I've been at all of the shows so far, doing a wide variety of different things. Is amazing because if you look at that, it puts me on a stage with some incredibly big names, It was incredibly good, very entertaining people. And that reaction on that show was awesome. So I've watched the video back, and usually videos and the sound on there don't quite do it justice, but it almost does. It was absolutely deafening, and it was quite entertainingly negative reaction towards me when I was there, which isn't the worst thing.
These people wanted, so you know what I mean. You're right in that persona where people want to see your face get smashed in. You know, you get no reaction. There you go. It's like sort of say, no press is bad press. No reaction is well. That don't make sense now. I was going to say no reaction is a bad reaction, but yeah, as long as you get a reaction, it's a good thing. That's the point I'm making. So right, so yeah, North. You've got everything going on down here. What's the future at Tidal? How long are you going to holding the belts for? You got any dream matches? If anyone dare steps up to you as the Tidal chief, have you got anything in mind for Tidal going forward?
The short answer is forever. I think I'm probably going to retire the championship. Makes sense. I don't tend to lose at any point. That being said, there's rumours that I lost a match on Saturday. Yeah, I know. It wasn't my fault though, and also it was definitely a non-title match because there's a guy called Dean Allmark who's been trying to challenge me. So I'm obviously saving it for that. So I'm just having a few warm-up matches for that there. But I wrestled a guy from down south called Smashing Mike, who has the most energy of anybody I've ever met. And he's a really, really good wrestler. But he just doesn't stop. He's on all the time. And he might have beaten me, but it was mostly because Dean appeared, and he's not supposed to be there. I think he's been booked for like September, so that's when he wants to wrestle me. And I've said fair enough. I have liked Dean in the past, so I'll give him the match. But yeah, he was quite unwelcome, so yeah, caused a little distraction, but.
That's fine. It's just like I say, just a warm up, a sparring match kind of thing. They don't go on the record.
Exactly. Just lure him into a false sense of security, and yeah,
that's the one. But Dean Allmark, generally what a guy. I think somebody said once he looks like your favourite uncle until you get in the ring, and then he will just kick your ass, kind of thing. Obviously, but yeah, and that kind of stuck with me as a description of Dean Allmark. I was like, yeah, I can kind of see that. Again, though, very solid. Obviously, cornerstone of the holiday circuits. Which is one of the most underappreciated people in British wrestling, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. I think he is starting a little bit more recently, again in sort of the last year and a half. Started appearing on more and some quite big indie shows as well. And I think he just needs to appear there, and people can immediately see just how good he is. And yeah, he's good enough to get whatever reaction he wants to get there from the crowd. And yeah, he's an excellent person.
That's the thing for me, like British wrestling, you've got those guys that we mentioned, like your Rampages, your Nathans, your Dean Allmarks, but the next batch of guys coming through, again, I say coming through, you've been around for like a lot, people have been around for a lot longer than I think people realise, because maybe, they're 2 years out and stuff like that. But you got your Vushiks, you've got Darius, Slater, Scotty, there's a whole list of guys down south, like Adonis Payne, stuff like that. It's British wrestling at the minute is just strong for me. But, yes. I mean, we've got the whole spectrum covered, from experience to established to rising to guys that are just smashing the ceiling down, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's we've got a couple of guys at Evo as well there, Jack Maxwell, Heartman Dan, who were just absolutely smashing it. And again, massively underrated. Once they start seeing a few more places, they're going to start expanding a lot more as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're part of this. I mean, how's the I'm a fan on the outside looking in, and I've kind of got this opinion. Do you guys sort of feel something special with British wrestling at the minute? Is there kind of like an energy there that you're involved in, like this massive thing, and it is on an upward curve? Because British wrestling was huge. Like, it kind of had its second surge, I sort of say, with your Kirby's, Travis's, Hayes, Rampage's, Cruz, those guys. And obviously it went through a bit of a shitty time several years ago, and then had a couple of years out. But it just seems to be like, back on the rise. And probably
it's exactly that. I think COVID killed it. A little more killed it, but just stopped the momentum a little bit. But I think now with both the guys who have been coming through, with NXT UK starting and taking sort of people off the top, and people starting to then fill those spots there, and then the NXT UK guys coming back in as well, it's just really starting to bubble again. Yeah, it is like you said, it's a very exciting place, a very exciting time.
So you guys are feeling that then when you're at shows?
Absolutely.
I think it was, I can't remember, I'm sure it was Scott, he was saying that like the locker rooms as positive now as he's ever known them, kind of thing. Yes. It's like everybody's popping more big than everybody else up, kind of thing. It's not quite as cliquey as it was, or people trying to put down, elevating each other now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for me, coming through with the NGW shows there, I was quite lucky in that it wasn't particularly cliquey, and there was a lot of there were a lot of the big names there at the time as well who were coming through, and they were all really sound. But now everyone's just really good friends. Everyone's genuinely excited to see each other, to see how each other's progressing. And it's just a really good place to be, really exciting place to be.
That's awesome. As a fan, it's just nice to hear that as well, because obviously we see it, and it's nice that you guys kind of get to experience, or you know it as well, kind of thing. Because on the other side of the curtain, we don't know what it's like. We don't know. You guys are aware of how excited we all are. I mean, obviously we try and make a noise. But I'm guessing obviously shows are louder now, or they're getting louder, and it just gives you guys, you can feed off the energy. Yeah.
I mean, even though the price of everything's going up, the wrestling shows still in general seem to be doing really well. So I mean, surely means that something's
going
right, isn't it? Something's going all right, isn't it? So I think that's the proof in the pudding, is that there's still lots of companies who are drawing a lot of people to come see the shows and engaging with a lot of fans at shows online, and and I think there's only good places to. I mean, AEW have pulled in. I think they announced the other day it's the second biggest gate or money made on a wrestling show in history, and that's in the UK, and that's for a company that's never run in the UK as well. So yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of it's a sore spot with me. I kind of had the flip of a coin where I'd go AEW or buy 4 or 5 shows to British shows, and so I ended up buying numerous tickets for British shows as opposed to going to AEW. But I'm not bothered by that. It's fine. It's okay. I'll stay true to the British shows. Talk about characters and stuff like that. Obviously, it's another part of wrestling now, social media. Obviously, I know you've got your social media game on point. I've seen numerous tweets of yours. Has it become like a key part of wrestling? Do you sort of find that you have to kind of, when you're looking through Twitter, are you obviously you in character when you tweet, kind of thing, but do you find that sort of weird to switch on and off, or is it just easy enough because it's you kind of turned up to 11?
A bit of both. So I really am very late to that game. It's only the last sort of year or so that I've really been using Twitter a lot. Before, I was a little bit more old school in just trying to do things, meet people at shows. A lot of it was the confidence that I had in myself. That I was like, well, why does anyone care what I'm going to say? Like, what's the point in putting things out? Because no one knows who I am. No one cares. And it was then just giving it a go and being my character self, if that makes sense. Like, I made a very conscious decision that everything will be in character. It's more fun for me. And again, no one wants to know really about actual me. They want to know what the character's doing. It's far more entertaining. And yeah, as it transpires, it's an incredibly important part of things. The amount of places that have started looking at me and want to bring me in just because I've started just calling people out or telling people they're in a tag team with me, or just started posting silly things, or been doing videos with people. And I mean, people don't tend to be very happy about me doing videos with them, but but just all this it's entertaining because it's entertaining me, and then some of these things, so that getting the pictures, getting the videos, it seems to sort of build a little bit of a forum. But have people come up to me asking to do videos with me before, and I really think it's something that I've been missing for a long time, and something that I'd tell anyone else. It's very entertaining, because where else have you got a platform that's free for people to get to see your character? People, I mean, it accounts for a very small percentage of people. However, it does seem that there's a lot of those people, especially in our bubble, who are on Twitter and looking at things. And as long as you're not taking anything massively seriously and you're looking at it and you're thinking, fair enough, that dickhead again. Sorry for his, but yeah, it is a very important thing. It's a very important part of the thing.
Is it? I'm trying to sort of personally correct. I believe you put a video on with John Morrison after the one. Yeah. was he happy to be on the video with you, or was it just a case of like, I'm recording? Let's go.
So John, he has every right in everything that he's done. He's got every right to not be a particularly nice man. However, so he turned up at the show, went and put his bags backstage, came down, took his shirt off, and started doing handstand competitions. I was like, this guy's ace. And he was wrestling Nathan on that show. Conveniently, Nathan's one of my best friends, so I chat to Nathan and sort of got chatting to John as well. So I was like, I think I spoke to Nathan and Matt and said, should we do one of these videos here? And they're like, yeah, cool, let's do this here. And I turned to John and said, would he be up for doing one of these videos with me? I told him what it was about, and he literally just laughed and was like, yeah, of course, and just found it so amusing. So I did it. When I do them, I don't tell people what to do. I just tell them what the concept of the video is, and just leave any reactions up to them. So his reaction was just his genuine reaction at the time there, and I was like, yeah, that's brilliant. But yeah, he's a person that's just, he's such an awesome human. Hopefully he comes across again. But just so chill, so easy to get on with, especially for someone who's done as much as he could do. But yeah, again, in general, people are really happy to do the videos, because once I explain it to them, they just find it funny. And then, like I said, I've had people come up to me asking to do the videos as well, and be like, yeah, cool, let's go. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool to hear about Morrison as well, though, or Mr. TV, or whatever surname he's going by at any given point. It's always, I always kind of imagine him to be a very cool guy, so it's nice to hear that he is. You know, he's kind of got that about him. So that's cool. And I believe he's coming back at some point in the future. So hopefully we get a sequel in October when PW have the next 2 shows. So but yeah, I mean, obviously, like we sort of said, you know, being at the 1PWs, even though you was only in the ring for a couple of minutes with Ulf, it's stuff like that where you get backstage, you get talking, you interact with pretty much everybody there that's open to be interacted with. That in itself's got to be an awesome experience. You know, do you walk around like a sponge, talking to as many people as possible, or do you kind of just stick with Nathan and Matt?
A mixture of all of it, really. Depends how confident I'm feeling. I mean, obviously, we'll go around and say hi to everyone. And the more I've been there, the more sort of we're all getting to know each other, because it's getting talent from. So if you think of the British talent from all over the country, and then it's putting in some of the big American guys as well. obviously quite a few of the American guys have been over quite often. They've been over a few times, so it's just a case of getting to know each other. But yeah, every single one there I've spoken to has been brilliant. Say John stands out. D'Lo Brown, awesome. He's a massive football fan. He's a Liverpool fan, unfortunately, but he's been super chilled there.
Lance Archer, he is intimidating as you would think.
I annoyed Lance Archer on the last show, but we're friends again. I annoyed him in the meet and greet. I was going outside doing some videos with people, and then went up into the meet and greet and took my rightful spot at meet and greet table. Right next to Lance Archer, he wasn't very happy. But we made up afterwards. We'll probably be a tag team on the next show. That's how good we are now. But no, he's really cool. And again, as someone who's done as much as he's done all over the world, it's great to get to mix and get to chat with these guys and get to learn off them. Yeah,
that's it.
Christopher Daniels as well. Like I said hi to Christopher Daniels, and he was so humble. I know. It told me his name, and I was like, yeah, I know who you are. It's fine. But everyone's just, and it's such a great atmosphere at 1PW. Everyone's so happy to see each other, and I mean, you look at the shows and you look at what they put out, and it looks like it's a WWE. Like the production levels are next level. They look after everyone, and yeah, it's just a really nice place to be.
Awesome. Just throwing out there for future tag teams, Ace Archers, and your little logo could have a little bow and arrow with a bullseye.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's the new tag team for you. Ace Matthews, Lance Archer, Ace Archers. Awesome.
The Ace Archers. Excellent. Such being.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've just clocked the time. Obviously, yeah, I think we've covered and talked about a lot of very, very cool stuff. Obviously, there's loads more to come. Just many, many, many more title defenses.
Yeah.
We have Nash Boat winning the belts at some point, the tag belts.
They've not even been introduced yet, but yes, we'll be the first and only champions.
I personally think they're waiting for you guys to form before they're actually like, there you go, here's the belts. Now we have a tag team worthy of the belts. Here's the belt.
Exactly. See, you get it. Yeah.
I know, man. I'm on. I got this. I can't know how it works. But yeah, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Do you want to plug your socials while you're here so people can follow you and just the awesomeness?
I am at Let's Be Ace, all one word, on everything, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't think people use that anymore, and on TikTok. So but say Twitter and Instagram are the main ones, but it's always at Let's Be Ace, all one word. And
remember that it's just a general message for life. Let's just be Ace. So, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching this. Hit like, hit subscribe, do the normal generic stuff that I say at the end of an episode. And yeah, we will see you again very, very soon.